Hey everyone, it's Brad and Josh here, and we welcome you back, or for the first time, to We'll Bring the Popcorn, your favorite film and TV podcast.
I want to move us now into our other film review of the week. We have Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. This is the follow-up, obviously, to the very successful Happy Gilmore film that Adam Sandler made in 1996. Can you believe it's been that long? Like, it's almost 30 years since the original film came out, and I gotta say, man, this movie was heavy on the nostalgia factor, the callbacks, the tributes to people who couldn't be involved in the sequel because they had passed on, and he really did a good job of trying to get everybody that he could back into this sequel in some sort of role and some sort of follow-up from these characters that, man, outside of the crazy amount of celebrity cameos we got in this film, the one thing that I'll take away the most from this film was just how much care Adam Sandler gives to people that were involved in the making of the original film, whether they get a tribute or came back as a life update in this film. And it's just one of the things that I've always appreciated about Adam Sandler is he rides for his people, man. Like, if you're on his team, he will take care of you, and he did that very heavy in this movie.
I'll give him credit for that because he also pays a tribute to Cameron Boyce, who played his son in Grown Ups, which my kids know from the Descendants films from Disney, and it was nice to see that. He's just on a little bit of a monitor for you see a couple scenes that he was in, I believe, from Grown Ups.
Yeah.
But a little tribute to him. But I will give that. He gives great respect to those because you got Bob Barker's passed away. You had Donald the heckler, he passed away. That was Joe Flattery. You had Mr. Larson, Richard Keel passed away. Of course,
Chubbs.
You had Chubbs with Carl Weathers. Yeah. You had Grandma, and Frances Bay played her. All those have passed in the 29 years since this happened. But I like that, but I think it also hurt the film quite a bit in the way that it just felt like it was, all right, do you remember this scene? I'm going to show you the scene, and then we'll, recite a line. And I'll show you this scene, and we'll recite a line. And I'll show you this scene, and we'll recite a line. Like, it kind of didn't gel with me too well. Because Happy Gilmore is one of my favorites. Like, we grew up in the Adam Sandler era of Happy Gilmore, and Billy Madison, and Mr. Deeds, and 51st Dates. We also had Chris Farley around that time as well with, Tommy Boy and all that. And I just felt like it was a little too heavy-handed with the nostalgia and the throwbacks and everything else, that it just kind of fell flat for me. I had a few chuckles. I will say John Daly had me laughing just about every time he was on scene because we already know he's a crazy personality anyways. And so just him just going full bore into it, just sitting there pumping hand sanitizer into his mouth, and he and Steve Buscemi getting in a fight in the basement and stuff. I had a great time with him. And Eminem's cameo was a lot of fun in there, even though it went to a dark area and everyone just moved on from it. I just felt like it was kind of all over the place and exactly what it wanted to be when it came to tonal. I didn't get that many laughs out of this one as I did with Happy Gilmore. I felt it was just kind of trying too hard. I'd put this more like Dumb and Dumber 2. I felt like it was trying a little too hard with the nostalgia and the throwbacks that it kind of just lost my interest a little bit.
I want you to take note of this day and this episode for a very specific reason, because this is the first time, I think, in a long time that you and I couldn't be on more polar opposite ends of this. I knew going in this was going to be a car crash of a film.
Oh, I did too.
And I loved every second of this movie. I had so much fun watching this. I laughed hard several times in this film. There's a certain type of humor that really, when it gets it right, makes me laugh and makes me laugh hysterically. And I got a few moments of that in this film, like this scene where, his kids are very clearly caricatures and, just over the top for a reason. And he's having trouble getting his car started. And they all just go and beat the crap out of his car to try to get it to start. And then Steve Buscemi shows up and starts kicking his car too. But it's because he's not one of the family. They start trying to kick the crap out of Steve Buscemi. I don't know why. It just made me laugh. It was really funny. But I knew it was going to be that. I knew it was going to be over the top. I wasn't expecting, the greatest movie I've ever seen. And one of the things that we talk about so much is when they redo these movies, you worry so much about the humor translating from the last, from a movie that was 30 years old to now, and the same jokes don't land. There are some jokes in this that don't land very well, but a lot of it does, and it's really I got a lot of fun and enjoyment out of this film. I'm not gonna just to preface by saying, jumping ahead a little bit because I know we're gonna give this a rating. I'm not gonna score it super high from a pure cinematic perspective because I don't think that would be doing a service. But I guarantee you, I'm gonna watch this film multiple times, and it's just I think you balance the throwbacks because yeah, it's a classic comedy, but it's also it also gives the care to. Like, hey, here's this kid. He was his caddy in the first film. Now he's playing against him on the golf tour, and you didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize him either. Then I was like, oh, God, it's the caddy.
Well, it's not the same actor.
Yeah, obviously.
So it's a professional golfer playing the
Of course,
caddy
but it's like,
now,
he's like, oh, that's who it's supposed to be. And that's who he was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. But, like, it worked. I don't know why it worked, but it worked. Maybe I was in, like, a really good mood when I watched it. Like, I was really looking forward to this, and went in with no expectations of like any type of brilliant film, but the first one wasn't a brilliant film either. It's
even though I love the original, it might be a 7 at best that you would give a rating on that one, but it was one for that time and everything worked. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I really could not connect with anything in here. And I'll get into a little spoilers here because you have to for the main bit of the story is that, it kicks off that it has been 29 years. Yeah. Happy is still out there golfing, but at one of the tournaments, he sends one of his drives long and ends up killing his wife, which that felt dark. A little well, why after 29 years had you decided to sequel you're going to kill off basically only female character that you had in the first movie? And Julie Bowen is fantastic. She's a great comedic actress.
Sure.
You could have done a whole lot more with her in here and you killed it off. And then it's basically him and his kid. So it gets that he's become this raging drunk and he's kicked off the tour and he loses his grandma's house again and he loses everything because he doesn't know how to pay a bill. Like I said, it felt like it was trying too hard to be funny, and I only got very few chuckles out of things. Like I said, the John Daly stuff was a lot of fun. I loved M&M's. I love seeing Boban show up as the basketball player showing up as the Giants' son and having him streaking and everything else and having him in that wig. Scotty Scheffler was actually pretty fun because especially when he gets thrown into prison, he punches somebody out and he wants to learn from Happy how to do the hockey fight stuff, and then he does that and he gets disqualified, and famously he had a run-in with the police. I was here in Kentucky.
Yes.
That in the movie he punches a guy and they're coming to arrest him and he's not again.
Yeah.
Goes to prison. That kind of stuff I had fun with, but it just had, for me, it had too few moments of humor that I actually laughed at. A lot of most everything felt like it was just trying too hard, or it was just like literally showing you a scene from the original Happy Gilmore and then doing something else. There was also a really, I like a good That's What She Said joke.
Oh, that was terrible.
But there was like a 5-minute sequence of really, 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 really bad That's What She Said jokes being done one after another. And it was just like, you're spending like 5 minutes on these bad, That's What She Said jokes.
I think you're over embellishing it a little bit. Like it
was 2 or 3 minutes, but it felt long.
Sure. That was,
That's like what she said.
There you go. And like they're not all bangers, and they're not all gonna be. Like it's not gonna be witty joke, so funny like the entire time. Not every joke in this movie hits, but not every joke hit in the first one either. Like
absolutely. I rewatched the first Happy Gilmore not too long ago. I still enjoyed it, but it didn't have the same impact as it did when I was 13 and watched it for the first time.
Of course, but I don't know, man. I'm a little surprised that we're on opposite sides of this, but like I said, I say that to say I'm just not going to score this. It's not a great movie. It's over the top. It's absurd. It's everything you want from a follow-up to this to be. Like, does it work for who he wants to be now? Absolutely. You get all these characters that come back that were a part of the original. I thought the stuff with Shooter was funny.
I really love Christopher McDonald coming back. I thought he was so over the top as Shooter coming back, because it's ludicrous that because he stole the gold jacket, he has spent the last 29 years in an insane asylum because of that and stuff, and he gets out. I thought he committed so hard to it that he was really fantastic, but he was also a little bit underutilized because of that. He was fun with that. Like that's why I said it has these moments that really shows like, okay, this could be fun, and then it has moments that really drag down. Like his wife plays he has his kids, he's got his wife, he's got his friend, he's got everybody, and it does feel like it's more too many cameos. That there's, you get Rob Schneider in and he's doing his water boy stuff, and you get which geez, he's almost 80 years old now, and he's doing his water boy bit with and everything else, and playing a homeless man on the beach. Like I'm trying to find his name on the paper because I forget the actor's name.
Sure.
But I mean, he was it was fun, but it just felt a little too heavy-handed with how it was like one cameo after another after another after another after another. It was just like they'd do a little scene and then, well, let's just set up some cameos to do another scene. Because there were some cameos that were fun, like when you get him sitting with all the other gold jackets, and you've got Lee Trevino with him and all the other, Jack Nicklaus orders an Arnold Palmer to Travis Kelce, who's playing a waiter, and he's like, oh, so an Arnold Palmer, no, Jack. But I get that a lot. Like, that was a fun, goofy joke.
It's
but like I said, those, for me, it was just too sparse of those moments happening, because the rest was just almost too over the top, especially when you get it with the new golf league and what they're doing, and that all his golfers they've had these tendons cut that they can it's absurd, but it just kind of lost. Like Happy Gilmore was absurd and over the top, but this kind of took it to a new level of absurd.
Well, you got to ratchet it up a little bit, and I think that's what they wanted to do. It was very clearly a dig at the new golf league as well, like the one
absolutely,
the Saudi golf league that is got a lot of controversy around it too, because they pay a bunch of money and they got all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And like it's a little bit of a satire on that, and it's meant to be satire. That's all it's intended to be. Is it absolutely 1,010% over the top? Of course it is, especially when they get into the final 5-on-5 golf tournament stuff. It's absurd and it's ridiculous, but it was still fun. Like I enjoyed it. My goal right now is to get you to turn around on this film.
I do plan on trying to watch again. Maybe it's the mood I was in, but it was one that I could sit through Happy Gilmore and you could see me laughing maybe every minute or two. And this one, it was maybe every 30 minutes I laughed. Like I didn't feel like it. I felt like it was just trying too hard, because I get absurdity. I'm not going into this expecting gold that it's going to be such an Oscar award winning movie. I really loved Happy Gilmore, and I was like, oh, they're going to follow this up, but it was just really heavy-handed with the cameos and with the throwbacks and everything else at it. As you get the ludicrous stuff like him and Shooter getting a fight in a graveyard, and Bob Barker, his grandma, and everybody. Like you get that it's everybody who died is in that one single graveyard together, and they're fighting over it. And then they have the gag with the Mr. Lady, which was like, if it was a freshly dug grave, I would have found it funnier. But since it wasn't, it was like, okay, I get the bit, but it was just kind of like, it just felt like so many of the bits and stuff was just trying too hard to me.
I'm going to turn you around in this film. My goal is to turn you around. I want to watch it with you in a better mood. Like I want to watch. I want to watch it with you.
I don't want to dislike it. Like I love Adam Sandler's stuff. Like he's a fantastic dramatic actor. I also felt in this one he was almost kind of phoning it in a little bit more. I know he's supposed to be playing a Happy that's a little more depressed and that's a little bit more down and stuff, but it more felt like Adam was just kind of going through the motions with playing Happy until close to the end, when you start seeing him feel like Happy again. Then you got to see it, but the first half I felt like he was kind of just, okay, I'm here, I'm doing this movie.
I couldn't disagree with you more on that.
You're wrong.
I really couldn't disagree with you more, because he went through the very real loss of his wife, who he loved more than anything. He had multiple kids with. Like his dive into alcoholism was, I think, well done in all the different funny ways that he was trying to hide liquor and do all that stuff. I thought was hysterical. Like all the weird, crazy spots that you can.
The first couple times it was funny, but when you have 50 different things that he's hiding alcohol in.
Very realistic for alcoholics. I'll tell you. I know you're not a drinker, but
like I said, everything it was amped up over the top, which I could appreciate, but I feel like it went and stayed too far with the over the topness. Like it just kind of, because in the end, it's supposed to be a story about a guy who's lost his wife. Yeah. He's fell back to rock bottom. He's trying to support his daughter. his boys, not as much, but he is.
Yeah.
It's more about his daughter wants to be in, ballerina school, and just his wife who plays her dance teacher at the Boys and Girls Club. So, well, I can't help her anymore, but she needs to go to $75,000 a year school to really do ballet correctly and stuff. It was just like, okay. Like, I don't know. Nothing really connected with me. Like I said, the most fun I had with it was John Daly. John Daly and Eminem's cameos really got me. Having Guy Fieri show up was pretty funny as well for that. But again, most of it was 5-10 second gags that got it. I just feel like it tried too many gags and tried to go back to the well, because you got, well, they'll show this clip with a line, but someone else in the movie says the line just off kilter, especially like those kids who are sitting in the golf course are just saying. It just felt like we're just going to repeat everything that we say in Happy Gilmore, which is nostalgia can be fun when you do it in light doses and do it in little ways. Like 95% of this movie just felt like it was that throwback to where it felt like it didn't really have a story that was kind of fun to follow.
Let me ask you this: How often do we find ways to quote films, like funny lines from films, to each other on a daily basis?
Oh, all the time.
All the time. And it's
no
kind
one's
of
going to be quoting Happy Gilmore too.
It's
kind
kind
of
of
a
a
problem I have.
It's kind of a meta take on that too, because it's like hey, this is how people who, if they met Happy Gilmore, the character in real life, would probably do to them, right? Like it's. I get where you're coming from. In some ways, you can convince me that they do overdo it, but I think they know they're overdoing it and they just lean into it. And you just kind of.
And sometimes I can have fun with that. This time, it didn't work for me.
I want to turn you around on this film. That is my new life's mission. I'm going to stop having every other goal that I have set for myself, and I'm going to turn you around on this film, because I thought it was hysterical. I loved every bit of it. I want to give a little bit of a special shout out to Bad Bunny, who plays his caddy in the film. Hilarious in this film too. Like he does such a good job of playing the waiter who becomes the caddy, and like just gets a little bit more shine than obviously the last caddy got in the original film as well. But I thought he did a really good job in this one too. And him being the big mega star that he is in the world of music, like. He's got a few solid acting roles under his belt now, and I thought he really had some opportunity to shine in this film a little bit too, which made me want to go out and get some breadsticks after watching.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at times. There was one part that like Adam had him do his own happy place and stuff, and it was Travis Kelce getting covered in honey and being attacked by a bear and stuff, which I got a little chuckle out of it, but then it didn't the happy place was always used with Happy Gilmore. That got him in the mood to be able to compete and go. Having him do it really didn't have any bearing on the movie other than just to be another bit. Like that's the problem I had with it. It was just too many. It was like a Saturday Night Live sketch and then another Saturday Night Live sketch, because there was even Saturday Night Live sketches. There was some bad CGI of trying to bring back a younger Adam Sandler stuff, but it felt like a sketch tied to another sketch for me. Like. The original Happy Gilmore isn't a fantastic film by any means, but I felt like it had a more cohesive, flowing story that made you connected to the humor and the bits and everything that they did in there. And I felt this was just nothing but bits and gags, and it just lost me. Like I love stupid humor. I did not love this movie at all.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna make it my mission to turn you around.
I will give, because I love the original Happy Gilmore, and I do have such a sour opinion on this. I will watch it again. I didn't have much fun with it, and that was disappointing to me, that I didn't have a whole lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. You're allowed to be wrong sometimes, and I think this is an instance of you being wrong.
If you look online and the ratings everywhere, more people agree with me on that.
Of course, because you're getting your opinions from the internet, because we know how positive the internet is.
No, but seriously, you didn't get much marketing or anything leading up to this. Sure. It kind of just came out. Yeah. And it was one of those that you didn't get a theatrical release. It's just straight to Netflix and stuff. It did feel like... It just felt like, hey, I'm just gonna get all my buddies together again and do a movie, which can be fine. Most of it just fell flat to me, and I do hate that, because I enjoy Adam Sandler as a comedic actor and as a serious actor, and I do love the different bits that Steve Buscemi and all his buddies and friends have done throughout the years. There was just something about this that just felt like too many bits and gags and throwbacks. Like I said, there's so many scenes that are just literally taking a scene from Happy Gilmore, showing it again, adding one or two things to it, then moving on to the next bit, and then you would do the same thing. Like, well, hey, you remember this kid? You remember this? You remember this? You remember this? Do you remember this? Like, it was a little heavy-handed in that way. And I think that's where it lost me, because I can do stupid, I can do over-the-top comedies like this. They're some of my favorites, like Tommy Boy, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. All those are some of my top stupid kind of comedies that I've really enjoyed. It just fell flat for me. Like, I just didn't feel like, and the ending, it just kind of ends in that way. And then how he's like, well, if you make this shot, we won't do a draw. Well, what do you want? Well, I want your car, and I want my house, my grandma's house bag. And like, it kind of just, it started the movie off of resetting everything that happened in Happy Gilmore with this happy ending. And then you get him back to the end of the movie. He has most things back but his wife. It just still kind of irked me that they killed her off. Like, it felt like you could have had such more dynamic with this story. You could still have done that. Well, maybe Happy needs to come out of retirement and help with this new league because the PGA is struggling and they can't get people to watch. And you got this new league that's over the top, and you need Happy to come, but he's reluctant because he's a family. I feel like there was different ways they could have done the story that would have probably felt a little bit better than just gag after gag after gag after gag. Like, it just felt like it felt like I was watching different skits made into a movie.
Sure, and it's a fair criticism, but like, I don't know, it just worked for me. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, but
I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just saying to me, I'm just like,
I can tell you won't, but I want to know what how limited of availability Julie Bowen may have had to make this movie. Could have also played it.
See, she came out and said that she's glad they didn't recast her, and that trade her in for a younger model. Which I'm like, all right, so she's gonna have some to meet to what she does in here, and she's got maybe 2 minutes of screen time, 4 minutes of screen time, maybe.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes or less of screen time, and I just wonder if that played into how they put the film together, because you don't know what her availability for that could have been. She may be. I mean, she's a very successful actress now, especially with, Modern Family being like one of the biggest, sitcoms of all time. Like, she's an in-demand actress and working on other things too. So maybe maybe her schedule didn't allow her to do too much in this, and they went with that and rolled with it and made a story that they did. Would I have liked to have seen what you thought it could have been? Sure. Like, that would have worked too, but that's not what we got here.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
So, I mean, like, we nitpick on people for fantasy booking stuff all the time, but I think you're doing a little bit of that here based on what we got. But I don't know.
I wanted I wanted a better story than it gave us. And I'm not expecting gold. I just wanted something that made the comedy and the cameos and everything make sense. And it just felt like it's a hot
mess.
Every scene we're just going to throw in everybody.
It's a hot mess, but I was expecting a hot mess. And I think that's why I'm more forgiving of this film, because yes, Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite comedies of all time too. I love that movie. I quote that movie all the time. But I wasn't expecting it to be as good. Like, and
I wasn't either. I didn't have any expectations.
And I don't think it was going to. I never thought it was going to be as good, especially when it's coming straight on to Netflix like it is. That's not to say he hasn't had some good Netflix movies. Like, Sandler's got some really good Netflix films. He's got some really bad ones, but he's got some good ones too. Like, it felt like a tribute sequel is what it was. It was like and that's kind of what it felt like. It was like a tribute, a love story to Happy Gilmore, updated to now with a little bit of a story thrown in there. The film plot is not that deep. I mean, yeah, he goes through this horrific thing and dives into an alcoholic, becoming an alcoholic, and then pulling himself back up out of the rut that he's in to at least get himself back to, normal and in at a good place. And I think that's the bare minimum of what the plot of the film was. But I don't know, man. It just, I thought if they were going to lean into it as heavy as they did, I'm glad they leaned all the way in to it and did what they did with it. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, if you're going to own it, own it. And they owned it. Like, they took that dial and turned it all the way up to 10. And they just went with it. And for whatever reason, for me, it worked. Like, it just did. Like, I laughed a lot, and it did what I think it needed to do for me. Like,
unfortunately for me, it didn't work. It was too just too much of everything to just feel entertaining to me. Like, it's just throwing stuff at you and hoping that it sticks. Like, that's why I said it feels like a sketch. It's like, well, we're just kind of improving and working out what works here. And like the whole movie was just kind of like that. And like I said, I like Christopher McDonald coming back as Shooter. He was a lot of fun. John Daly was a lot of fun. Eminem's cameo was fun. Scotty Scheffler was fun. But past that, and Boban was, fun in there. Past that, it just didn't work for me. I wish I felt the way you did. I had no expectations coming to this. I expected it to just, all right, they're doing a sequel. Don't know if this humor works, nowadays, especially with us seeing it 29 years later after Happy Gilmore and everything else too. Does it work? I'm glad you connected with it and had a lot of fun with it. It was just something I could not get into. Like, it just made me feel like this didn't really need to exist, and it just didn't bring me any fun. Like, I only had a very few small moments there where it actually made me laugh. The rest of it was like, okay, I see this joke coming, I saw that joke coming, I see this. Like, it was, and delivery and a lot of stuff was just kind of felt flat.
Sure. And I'm giving you a lot of grief just because we don't get to disagree too much, and it's kind of fun when we do, because
you see how he bullies me.
I do. I'm gonna get off your lawn now and let you go back and take the nap that you so desperately need right now. But
vacation for my vacation.
Right. I'm glad you had a lot of fun. But yeah, in the end, Happy Gilmore 2 is a film that really divided the two of us, as you could tell by the discourse that we've had here. In my opinion, I think it leans into the fact that it knows it's going to be over the top and hits a lot of really fun nostalgia notes. I really love the tributes that Happy Gilmore did to pay homage to the original, and just showing the love to all the people that couldn't be involved in the sequel, while also just kind of taking it and modernizing a bit. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. It's not the best cinematic movie you're ever going to see. I can't give it that high of a rating. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10, purely for the enjoyment and the humor that I got out of it. It's not a strong plot. It's not, the best well-acted film I'm ever going to see, but for me, for whatever reason, it struck the right humor notes for me that I got so much enjoyment out of it. It gets a little bit of a bump for me just because I want to go back and watch it again and kind of watch it a few more times. If it's rewatchable for me, I'll score it a little bit higher. It's not a great movie by any means, but I still got a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it's one I could see myself going back to.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, Happy Gilmore 2 was a letdown. I didn't have expectations going in, but when just following up one of my favorite comedies, I was hoping to have some enjoyment out of it, and I just felt like you've got 40-plus cameos from his family to his friends to golfers to actors. It does, I'll give it props for the tributes it does to the people who have passed away. It's like Christopher McDonald and John Daly, Scotty Scheffler, they were all fun in the little bits of it, but the small amount of laughs that this gave me compared to the rest of the time, I'm just sitting there, meh, through the whole thing. I'm giving it a 4. Like, I did not have an enjoyable time watching Happy Gilmore 2. It just felt like a really forced, heavy-handed, just trying too hard to pay respect to the classic, because it shoveled in cameos, shoveled in gags. It just felt like I was watching a skit of different scenes being put together as a film. Like, I wasn't expecting a good plot. I just wanted stuff that would make me laugh, and most of it just felt a little too heavy-handed to me. So yeah, fortunately, it's a 4 for me.
4 out of 10 is absolutely crazy. But you know what? You're entitled to your opinion. It's one of the rare times that you and I are that far off on a rating.
Pretty far off on
It's not that common. We tend to have very similar tastes, as people like to say we don't disagree that much. I'm glad we had the discourse, though. I'm glad we could talk about, why it worked for me, but it didn't work for you. Like, I love when we can have that, debate. And I don't take any of it personally, obviously. I'm just kind of jabbing at you a little bit. I'm poking at him under the table a little bit. Like, I'm going to turn you around on this film. And I mean that genuinely. Like, we're going to watch this back at some point. You're going to come to my house. Like, you're already here, but you're going to come over on a day we're not recording. We're going to sit down, we're going to watch it, we're going to laugh, and we're going to have a good time.
I'm game for that, but
we're going to have a good time. Like, I'm going to turn.
I don't know if I'm going to laugh too.
And then I'm going to brag to everybody on here when you laugh more than the 2 times you said you did in this film. But like, I love that we could have that conversation, and that's fun. That's the fun part of movies. But this, I do feel, is a case of how your mood going into a film can affect your enjoyment of it. You may have been, like, I don't want to assume the mood you were in when you watched it, but I know you were coming back off of Vacation. I'm assuming you watched it yesterday, probably.
I watched it last night.
Yeah, and you were tired and just coming back from vacation and kind of decompressing and going through like that. And maybe you may not have been in the best, space to watch that, having, done that and getting ready to kind of jump back into everyday life. And I'm wondering when you get reacclimated and maybe get in a little bit of a better place to appreciate the film, that you could watch it and maybe score it a little better. And I'm hoping that's the case. That's what I'm hoping.
Probably not, but I definitely, mood can definitely affect
It could, yeah.
how you feel with the film, especially a comedy. If you're not in the mood to laugh, then there's going to be very few things that get you to laugh. I don't think there'd be enough to bring it up to even close to a 7. Maybe it could bring up a half, or maybe 1 up to a 5 or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a chance, and I'll watch it with you, and we'll see how it is. But I wanted to have fun with it, but I just couldn't have fun with it. It just felt like it almost felt like one of those direct-to-DVD knockoff, but you have the original cast and everybody back who's part of it, and it just kind of felt like, all right, felt like Netflix, here's a bunch of money to make a sequel. We don't really want to, here's even more money. Okay, let's just slap something together, and there's Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, I could not disagree with you more, but Happy Gilmore 2 is on Netflix right now. Go check it out. Come to our comments and let us know what you thought about it. Are you Team Brad? Are you Team Josh? Be the right choice and be Team Josh on this, and tell Brad just how wrong and out of touch he is on this. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, let us know what you think. If you feel one way or another about it. I know for me personally, when I watched this, I did watch this with several people simultaneously in like a shared streaming thing that we did through Discord, and everybody that watched it too had kind of a similar opinion watching it as I did. So maybe that group dynamic and group setting maybe helped amplify my enjoyment of it too. Maybe. Yeah. And it could have been. And I may go back and watch it again and maybe not feel as strongly about it like as I did too, because that, like I said, your mood and your circumstances could play a part in how you enjoy it. Maybe it amplifies your enjoyment of something you may not have enjoyed as much if you just watched it by yourself, or in your case, the other way around. Like you may have not been in the best space to catch everything or whatnot, but it's where we landed. And
yeah, because the only thing my brain keeps going back to is John Daly. Like he was kind of stole the movie a little bit from me, and he wasn't in there, but maybe 5-10 minutes himself as well. But like him taking the hand sanitizer, and also Steve Buscemi pulling out some Listerine. He's like, hey, let me get ahead of that. And like, no, and fighting over that. Like that, it was stupid humor, but I could get on board with that because they were hamming it up big time. But yeah, there was just so much. Like I didn't really care for his boys that I'll say in there. Like they were just carbon copies of him, and I get that they're supposed to be carbon copies of him. But when you have
to a point
4 to 5 kids that are all exactly Happy Gilmores with writing everything and sticking bread at everybody, like there can be a slight chuckle, and then it's just kind of done for me.
For whatever reason, it worked for me, and it brings me back to one very funny moment is when he had Shooter come to his house, and he said he refused to put on the Boston Bruins jersey, and like his boys were just like, "What?" It just, I don't know, it just made me laugh because it's something very much Happy Gilmore would do or say, and now you've got 4 or 5 of them just barking at him. It was funny. I don't know. It just worked for me, but.
Yeah, so let us know. Come to our Discords, our socials. Let us know what you think. If you were more along the lines that it was a little more even if I didn't have any expectations or hopes for it going in. So that's why it almost felt even more disappointing that, like I said, I chalked this up like a Dumb and Dumber 2. Like they tried, but it just kind of failed because of how much they relied on nostalgia to kind of carry the film.
I think it's 100 times better than Dumb and Dumber 2. I really do. Dumb and Dumber 2 was god awful, and Dumb and Dumber is probably top 3 or 4 comedies for me because I can quote that movie verbatim. Dumb and Dumber 2 was terrible. Yeah. I will agree with you 1,000% on that. This is way better than Dumb and Dumber 2, like in my opinion. But it's unfortunate.
It's interesting to have us so far apart on it, but yeah, I wanted to enjoy it, but I just couldn't get into it like you did. I'm glad you had fun with it.
We'll get back to it.
I just can't. So definitely Fantastic Four was my most fun of the week. Like, I was smiling. I was having such a good time. Like Reed felt like Reed. The stretching looked fantastic. like I said, when I say Johnny stole the movie, for his scenes, Vanessa overall was the star of that movie.
Agreed.
She was Mama Bear. She was the stern wife that I still love as being a husband and a dad. When she walks in and sees Herbie building the crib and comes out to him, and it's like, yeah, so Herbie's building the crib, huh? It's supposed to be.
So yeah, I had him do it.
Like, it was just their relationship felt so dynamic and real in that and stuff too. So the Fantastic Four First Steps was definitely my favorite thing to watch this week. And I was unfortunately disappointed in Happy Gilmore too. I had no expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be good, and it even went under my low expectations.
It's okay to be wrong. We'll come back to it. We'll circle back to it at some point.
Well, we could sit here and argue about Happy Gilmore 2 for probably another 30, 40 minutes or something.
We will when we're done. No,
but I mean, like I said, I'm glad you had fun with it. It was just too much for me.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with that. I respect that opinion. I'm gonna wholeheartedly disagree, but hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about our experiences with movies. We're not always gonna be on the same page, but I'm glad we got to still break it down and talk about it for sure. It's
Happy
why
Gilmore 2 is the divide between us.
Who would have thought? To find all of the episodes of We'll Bring the Popcorn, go to our YouTube page, hit the like and subscription button so you're getting our episodes when they drop each and every Monday. If you're listening to us in the audio room on any of the podcasting platforms that we're on, please don't forget to give us a 5-star review. It really helps elevate the profile of the show. And don't forget to go to willbringthepopcorn.com, where it has all of our archive videos, all of our social media information, as well as our merch store, so you continue to support the show in that way. We cannot thank you enough for your continued support.